I always like jumping on here. It's like Christmas. Like, who's here? Who's here? Who are all the cool people here? Joe Metz, Myron, and Lane. Who are these people? Where are you from? Lane, good morning. Good afternoon. Lane, what's up, man?
How are you doing?
I'm great, man. Where are you from?
I'm from Pocatello, Idaho.
Idaho. What's your favorite course out there?
Probably Blue Lakes and Twin Falls.
All right. All right. What's your best score out there?
Oh, probably 84.
84. All right. How many years have you been playing golf?
Off and on since I was 10 years old, but seriously about the last 3.
Last 3. What are you like 36?
Or add 20 years to that.
All right. So you're in the middle 50s?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. So I just got a text from Matt Miller. He even made a post in the group recently. Matt joined about 5-6 months ago. Just went out and fired a 68. He came in shooting 85s.
Nice.
And so just in 4, 5, 6 months, 70, 68, 69, 70. So everything's possible. We're going to cover about that, about belief system and things like that. What do you think's holding you back as far as your belief system?
You know, honestly, the consistency of my game is the biggest thing.
Gotcha.
You know, I know in my brain what I'm doing wrong. It's being able to deliver it to my body.
Gotcha. What kind of training have you done to fix that?
Just I do weight training, I do practice range, I do alignment sticks, things like that.
Cool. And what are your goals for 2022?
To consistently shoot in the 70s.
All right. Who else is on here?
Randy Sitz just popped on.
Yeah, Randy.
Hey, Lane, have you watched Dean's master class, or are you just part of the group? Our free.
I'm just part of the group right now. I just barely joined on Facebook and had this pop up.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Randy, I heard you've been playing some golf this weekend.
Well, I play every weekend. So yeah, I had a fun day yesterday with 2 friends of mine that are like 30, 40 handicappers. So it was fun. Stacy's a fishing buddy of mine, and that's his girlfriend. They both just really started playing golf maybe 5 years ago, but not seriously. So yeah, it was fun, really fun. So
saw you stuck a few clothes, huh?
Yeah, so it was funny. His girlfriend came up to me, so that was a 172-yard par 3 over water, and then to almost like a island green, except for one side, right? And she goes, "Oh my God, Randy!" She's from Wisconsin, so she's got this nice little accent. She goes, "What about all that water?" And I said, "What water?" I said, "So I know how far I hit this iron. That's all I need to know. I don't need to know what's around me. I know where my iron's going." And so I just focused on that pen, and I said, "Look, I'm going to take it right to the pen and see what happens." And as luck turns out, I hit it 2 foot from the pen. So it was fun.
That's funny. So where did you learn that trick about what water?
Just focus, mental focus,
Yeah.
mindset from you. And, everybody says it, but we never really apply it until you do. And then you realize, oh shit, this works, man. I need to do this more often.
Yeah. I remember playing in the practice round before the Champions event, and the guys asking, what water? What about that water? I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? I just ignored him. I was like, so Scott, you see this down here, that talking to my caddy, I'm like, you see that? That's where I'm aiming at right there. That's what I'm going to play at. Never worry about that stuff.
Right.
Never.
Yeah. So.
And it's a choice, and it's a training choice too.
Right. Yes, yeah, it was fun.
Got Joe on here, and two Joes and a Myron.
Hey, gentlemen, it's Myron.
Hey, Myron, where are you calling from?
I am in Round Rock, Texas now, but I live in Killeen, Texas, the home of Fort Hood. I'm a retired soldier. I've been knocking them around ever since right around September 11th time frame, but haven't really got the consistency to stay out and play due to traveling all over the world and doing crazy stuff. But I just retired here a couple of years ago, and I try to play at least once or twice a week. That's about as all I can get. When it comes down to favorite courses here in Texas, I like the Cowboys course, even though I do not like the Cowboys. And I like Wolf Dancer. It's another course down here in Texas that I like to play in. But, you know, I saw this out on Facebook, just like the other compadre said, and just trying to see what I can glean from this and maybe consider joining, because, you know, my best game around here is right around 88, 87, and I would love to shoot in the 70s on a consistent basis as well. I just came back in. Matter of fact, there's a course here in Round Rock, Texas called Terra Vista. So we were just outside. We were just out playing a few minutes ago, and I just got back in to catch this.
Gotcha. Well, welcome. I mean, you're in Randy's neck of the woods, right, Randy?
Well, fortunately for me, I don't live anywhere near Killeen anymore. So I spent 16 years there at Fort Hood, and then retired in 2012 and moved up here to Dallas. But he's right though. There's some fantastic courses around Killeen, and past us there, and the Hill Country got some great courses.
Well, Randy, since we're on here, can you just kind of share your experience with Myron? What your journey was before we start the training?
Yeah. So I was probably already a 9 handicap. Then I got in a motorcycle accident in 2016 and shattered my left leg in 13 places right at the joint, my left hip, my hand, broke my neck. And then about 2.5 years after that, I got where I was picking the golf club up again. And instead of going back to my old habits, I saw Dean on, I forget if I saw you on Facebook. It had to have been Facebook. And so I reached out to him because I wanted a golf coach, and I wanted somebody to kind of get me going in the right direction and not just pick up where I'd left off, all these old habits and bad habits, and fresh. So, and it's been great. That's what it's been. And you may say, well, you know, it's long distance, it's never going to work. I don't care where you take lessons from, in person or long distance. If you don't apply what you're being taught, it doesn't matter. So as long as you go apply what Dean's teaching, and then work on the block training, and you're going to do fine. You're going to have great results, and you'll see that on the course. So
Good.
Cool. So we're going to get started. So last week we started talking about ball striking. For me, you know, short game is important, but I think the most critical piece is just ball striking. So last week I had set up this station. We have this cone here, and you can just watch the replay for how to set this up. But I had this cone here because some of the challenge that I personally had was taking the club too far inside. It was really good once it got up to the top that I could reroute it down, but it's just, it causes to not be as consistent as I want to be. And so this one allows me not to cheat to where you can come up and cheat the system. So I set the cone up here, and I would get back up into here to start to the top, and then the downswing, I bring my hands directly to the ball right there. So this cone is to come from this side and then down this side to impact. And so I would just sit here and do these drills. 3 minutes here, 5 minutes here, every single day for a couple weeks. And then when I went out and played golf recently, I had a chance to get in 13 holes before dark, and I hit 12 out of 13 greens in regulation just by doing this drill here and then bringing it in here. Now there's another thing, training aids that I tested, and this one's called the Plane Mate by Mark Chuck. And I actually bought this last year, never put it into play until I started training this backswing to make sure I have a perfect backswing to the top, and I can start the downswing this way. So I'm going to move these out of the way for a second, just to demonstrate the importance for me, and I would imagine for you guys listening as well, to make sure that you have a consistent on-plane golf swing that's right for your body and what your body's capable of doing. So this little contraption does very similar thing, same thing. It doesn't allow, if this tubing, if I just turn, grab a club here and put this club right in my belly button. If I just turn my torso and pivot, the club stays in front of my body. Then I would just cock my left wrist and finish my turn. And what this playmate does, here I just turn my shoulders, clubs in front of my body, cock my left wrist up to the top. And now I'm in the same position I was with that cone and that stick. And so now, as I come down, the tension loosens, and I come right back into impact. And I can do the same thing here. And so you can eventually hit balls or you can just get the ball here and then just pivot. And then hold it for 2 to 3 seconds and do the same thing. And so during the winter, you don't have to hit balls to get good at golf or build a golf swing for when the snow melts, you go out and play golf. So this playmate allows my hands to come right back to here, up to the top, start the transition, and then I will hold this position, and then I can go ahead and set it and hit it. And just hold that there. You guys have any questions on that training aid and what I'm trying to accomplish? Nobody?
Looks good. How much does that thing run?
I have no idea. I don't know, $100, $150.
Can you, well, do you have somebody with you that can put the name of it in the chat or something?
Yeah, Scott can put the link to the playmate.
Yep, I already put the link in there, Myron. And you can find them out there. That's the best one that I found. That's where Dean got his from. You can find someone on Amazon for 200 plus, but the link I put in the chat is the best one and the one that Dean actually ordered. So
From Martin Chuck, right?
Hey, yeah,
Yep.
and it's, this is Ray. I was able to take some extra rubber tubes I had from like stretching gym things, and I kind of makeshift one where I tied it to an extra club and then I clipped it to a belt loop. And it doesn't have the roller on it, but it does kind of give you a similar feeling of what you got there. So if anybody wants to play with that, you can, I just did that with some extra stuff I had laying in the garage.
Well, so I'll speak on that. I would sell newspapers at 4 in the morning to save $200 and buy the right thing. You don't want to hack something if you don't need to. So, Martin Chuck put some time and effort to make sure that this works perfectly for what you're trying to build. And remember, this is not muscle memory, this is a motor control skill. And so the motor pattern has to be developed, and it can be developed quicker and better with slow motion and mirror reps and consistency. Small blocks, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, small blocks. And so then you take it off after you hit and train with it out on the range. If you go, or if you're in the winter in northern states, you can go to a golf simulator or whatever you need to do. And then you can just go ahead and take it off and see if you replicate the exact same swing. So I do a lot, and I mean lots of training without hitting golf balls. I just sit here in front of a mirror or in front of a camera. And you don't even need, you guys don't even need that, Ray. You don't even need this contraption. You don't. This will work just as fine. I covered this in the training last week. Simply, this here will stop me from going inside. So if I have the shaft here, my belly button, and I just turn, get this out of the way. If I just turn, the club head is still in front of my body, and all I would do is just hinge my left wrist and finish my shoulder turn and my hip turn. Now, if we had a wall straight up this line right here, there's a wall right here. Wall straight up this line, and I put my butt up against that wall, and I simply turn my butt on the wall and put my hand up here in that wall. There's the wall, and I stretch here. That's the exact same thing. And I can also turn the club around and not let that club touch that wall. So as long as this club doesn't touch the wall, you can do this over and over just with a wall in your house. And I can actually demonstrate it right here. On this wall here, you can see me in view. Club did not hit the wall. Club did not hit the wall. That's probably the best training exercise to not hit the wall, by using this little setup here. There's a tiny little gap for this club shaft to come right inside here. You don't need this plane mate, it's just an extra tool in your arsenal. And this is what it looks like face on for what I'm trying to do at impact. So I got my hip tilted just a little bit there. You know, I'll hold this position sometimes for 15, 20 seconds just to build that pattern inside my brain. And then I'll look down range because I'm not looking here, I'm looking out there. The whole point of doing this training for me is, and you guys may have not realized this, but if you swing towards the target, you swing down towards the target with this club, the ball's gonna go left. So we have to be aiming right so the ball goes straight. That's how these clubs are designed. So for me to get to here, come from the inside, visually, this 2x4, or I can put an alignment rod there, visually, that's where when I come down to this position here and I'm holding this, that's where I'm looking at. I'm looking downrange here, visually, because I'm swinging on a circle on an inclined plane. And the circle comes up to here. And so I want to take the bottom of my club, the butt of the club head, the butt of the club here, I got a T in here, and I want to direct this T to the ball, and then this is going to unhinge. And that's gonna go straight out towards right field. Any questions on what we're trying to accomplish with just having a perfect startup, backswing, start down towards impact? Anybody have any questions about anything?
Hey, Dean, it's Randy.
Hi, Randy.
Hey, so I just want to share a kind of a, not a eureka moment, but oh, finally, I get it moment that happened after I watched your last Sunday video about, keep not letting the hands, not letting the right hand pass over, or not flipping through impact and coming around, right? So about halfway through the video, before I had to go to church, I walked over to my little mat area over here, and I was trying that. And I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. Anyway, I took that to the range, and it finally clicked. And guess what else happened? I'm able to get my hips through the ball, because the only way that you're going to get to the ball, if that right hand doesn't pass over, is by turning your hips. Your hips got to lead through, at least for me. Otherwise, you stop and you flip, and then you add, 15 degrees loft to your 7-iron, and your 7-iron goes 140 yards, and or whatever club, So it's finally enabled me to not add dynamic loft, get my hips through the ball, compress that little son of a bitch, and send it. And it's just that, like I said, it was like, oh, finally you got that feel, and now I know what to do at the transition in my backswing to get there. And it's freaking fantastic. So I just want to give you a shout out for last Sunday.
Well, let me add some more training to that to help everybody figure out how to add that speed. So what Randy's talking about is all crappy golfers release the club and they do this. This club gets vertical. You build up. So for anybody on here that doesn't understand that this is power accumulator number 2. So there's an accumulation of power between the angle between my lead arm and the club shaft. There's power there, and we want to release that power. So when we release that power, a lot of golfers will get here and they're going to fire with their shoulder, and then they're going to dump everything right here. And now you see, that's what Randy was talking about, that high lofted shot and loss of distance. So when we educate our hands, we've got at least 4 or 5 trainings on how to educate your hands. And so in the full swing, need a different club here. In the full swing, so for the chipping motion, what Randy was talking about, the hips, right? So as I start down and I impact right here, you'll notice my hips and my knees have fired. But the club head is still behind my hands. The club head did not pass my hands. And so when you're chipping the ball, when you're playing distance wedges, or when you're doing the full swing, I never let that club head pass my hands. And so if you want to get really, really good at ball striking, you've got to figure out how to train your hands and how to continue rotating so that this club head does not pass over like this. It would be here. This is where I am, right here. Club head was still behind my hands. It's still in this position I was in impact. And it goes back to when I showed you the side view of what I was trying to do in impact with this 2x4. Here, 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 coming down. That's what I'm looking like an impact. Head still behind the ball. Hands are way ahead. My right foot's off the ground. My knees have moved, my hips have opened. This is impact for me. So when we look at power cue number 3, I can take this club head just with the knuckle of my right finger, and I can take this club head and I can fire it right at the ball. Hips are fired, knees fired, and the club head is still behind my hands. That's a bent right wrist. So the left wrist would just simply get down here and it would fire. And so we have some drills where we work on turn 45 degrees, bow, put the club right here, and work on building up forearm and wrist strength and speed. And we can do the same thing with the right hand, 45 degrees, bow, and just work on training. And so this is how we actually train during the winter of how to drop 10 strokes. And that's what we're going to cover tonight, unless Scott, you got some questions? Does anybody have any questions about what I just covered first?
I'm excited to try that. That looks like a very useful drill for me.
Yeah, me too.
Well, it's a great way to build speed, that's for sure. And speed is how you get more distance.
Hey, Dean, I've got a question for you.
Yep.
So you and I coached last week, obviously with discussing with my right shoulder issue, my left hip issue, and then my background of lifting a lot of heavy weights, there's a lot of tightness that goes through my body. Watching you put your body into that swing position up to the 2x4 there. If I get in that position, I don't look like you, right? I know I can get there. It's just going to take some time for me to work on my body, work on those positions. One thing that I loved about going through aspects of the program, number one, is just the educated hands aspect. Me looking at my body, and I know that I'm not the only one that has this. Do you have a suggestion of someone to be able to go, hey, is it my swing or my body that's actually, and I know they combine, right? Because you help build the swing around the body, but pinpointing key areas to really focus on. Because when I used to take lessons and my game would turn to shit afterwards, it's because that one area caused me to think 20 other horrible things or not feel comfortable. So breaking down like the swing piece by piece as we go through that, is there a certain area you think I should focus on, me specifically knowing where my body's at right now?
So the short answer is no. I mean, look, everybody has a body swing connection. And so, and I'm just gonna speak to everybody that's on here that wants to, whether you shoot a 90, you want to shoot a 75, whether you shoot 100, you want to break 80, whether you shoot 82 and you want to shoot 69. There is a very simple blueprint for how you can drop 10 strokes during the middle of winter. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a fitness evaluation. We're going to take a look at you from head to toe. are you able to, in your golf posture, without moving your lower body, can you disassociate your upper body from your lower body? You might not be able to do that. That might be a motor control skill that you haven't developed. Can you separate the lower body? Can you move the lower body without the upper body? Can you turn your hips without the upper body? So we do a 16-point evaluation, and then we customize something specifically for you to get more stability and mobility. But the majority of people in our program are over 40. Some are in their 80s, 70s, 60s, and 50s. And the biggest problem is flexibility. Flexibility. There's some people that have very limited external shoulder rotation. Their shoulder, they can't do further than this in their shoulder. Standing up. But what if they're in ball posture? And then this is as far as they can go. So if this is as far as they can go, what kind of challenges are they going to have in the backswing? And a coach is trying to tell them, hey, listen, you need to look like Tiger Woods. Well, dude, I can't do anything with the shoulder. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that whatever limitations you have, we're going to get more flexibility. And if we can't overcome that, which I haven't seen that problem yet, then we'll build your swing around that problem. If that's just one, there's 16 components we look at. Then immediately, so for the next 10 days, it's just like basic training in AIT. We're going to laser focus. So in basic training, you did a fitness component, and then you did some type of training, and then in AIT did some advanced training. Same thing we're doing here. We're going to laser focus for 10 days, teaching you how to read a green, how to hit your line, and how to control your speed. I mean, if you can't read a green, what are you going to aim at? What are you going to do? And if you don't have the right technique or the ability to hit the line that you've read, good luck. And then speed control is the most important in every part of the golf swing, putting included. So if you're a 94 golfer, typically all golfers, 43% of your strokes are from putts. So if you're a 94 golfer, that means you're going to have 41 putts. Well, if you come in the first 10 days, you can drop 8 strokes just in putting because we can get you down to 32 putts from 41 in 10 days. We can. Well, now what does that do? That brings on confidence. And that goes back to that question that I talked about tonight. You know, can I achieve greater than I believe? Well, some can and some can't. The reason that we can here is we get very quick results in the first 30 days. Then all of a sudden your brain starts to think, oh my God, I can do this. Oh God, there's other people doing it, because we've got a student only group where we have a lot of wins and celebrations. If you're an 85 golfer, 43% of your strokes are putts, that means you have 36 putts. I can assure you in the first 10 days of our program that you can drop 6 strokes just off your putting. Because we teach you how to read a green, we teach you the best way to hit your line and the best way to have speed control. And you're going to drill it, train it, and you get feedback from me and the coaches. Then we go into finesse wedges. Now I'm going to talk about finesse wedges and the full swing at the same time. And educated hands. We talked about educated hands earlier. So if I can educate my hands to where I'm going to cock my left wrist and I'm going to bend my right. In the golf swing, the right wrist should never cock or uncock. It should only bend. So if I cock the left wrist and I bend the right and I turn my shoulder 2 inches, there's a perfect backswing for my finesse wedges. Let me repeat that. If I cock my left wrist and I bend my right, now the club is 45 degrees and I just turn my shoulders 2 inches, there's a perfect backswing for my finesse wedges. And we're going to show you exactly how to start the downswing sequence. So now for finesse wedges and pitching and chipping, we can pitch it where the club head will pass the hands, not like we're talking about in a chipping motion where it doesn't pass the hands. In the finesse wedges, the club head will pass the hands. And you can see that my body is rotating. So there's a pivot back and there's a pivot through. How this all works full circle, within the second week of the program, we're having you look at the best full swing part 1, and we show you from head to toe how to build a golf swing from the ground up. So if I drive my weight of my trail foot in the ground, and I activate my leg, I activate my hamstrings, my calves, my quads, my butt, my glute. And then now simply just tilt my spine, put a shaft around my chest. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna simply pull this shoulder behind my head 2 inches slowly. And I'll do it face on this way here. Now eventually we're gonna get you to 4 inches and then 45 degrees. So just this first move here. Now this goes back to the fitness component. If you can't disassociate your upper body from your lower body without movement, you're gonna have a harder time. That's why we have to take care of the body first and start training your brain how to do that. So now let's go to distance wedges real quick. If I simply cock my left wrist and I bend my right and I go past 2 inches to 4 inches to 45 degrees, well, there's my perfect takeaway for the distance wedge. And now we just teach you how to do the downswing sequence for distance wedges. So step by step, going back to finesse wedges. We have a little bit of laser beam in front that opens my chest. My weight's on my front foot. Club's back here, so we play the ball in front or in the back or in the middle. Most of the time, if I'm playing a low shot, I'm gonna keep it in the back. If I'm playing a high shot, I'm gonna keep it in front. So cock my left wrist, bend my right, turn my shoulders 2 inches. There's the backswing. Now the downswing is gonna be the club head first. And I just carry my body through. We teach you how to do that. And then if you're doing it wrong, I can look at you and see if you're doing it right and make you do it right. So now if we look at this right forearm, how many times about 1,000 times can you do this? 1,000 times. So we train the right forearm to be really, really good for finesse wedges, but also the bunker shot. So for the bunker shot, I'm just gonna get a little bit more acceleration with this forearm. And I wanna throw the club head. So the finesse wedges and the bunker is where we do want this club shaft to be vertical. We don't wanna be in this position at impact. We want it to be vertical. We wanna actually throw the club head under the ball so it gets up high. So that's just the first 30 days where we talk about flexibility, stability, mobility, putting, finesse wedge, and bunker. And so in the first 30 days, it's likely you can drop 6 to 12 strokes, depending on where you're at. Now, the cool part about the first, from day 8 to day 30, those 3 weeks is when you're doing the best full swing in a mirror over and over and over, and then getting feedback to make sure you're doing it right. So after we start the full swing, we get this motion here. I show you how to bring in your left arm. And then I show you what's the left arm do for right-handed golfer. The left arm is going to elevate, and it's going to come up to my right ear. So it's really just coming up in this little angle up this way, staying in front of my body, not getting behind my body over here. A lot of golfers end up doing this, and that club is so far behind them that now they got to route over here. So the left arm, so then we elevate the left arm, and then we finish the shoulder turn. So it's really like a 3-piece drill where we're going to turn our shoulders, elevate my left arm, and then finish the shoulder turn and the hip turn. And it's the same view that we had when I was doing that ball striking when we first started the call, where all I want to do is get the club shaft here to here to here. So that's the first 30 days. What questions does anybody have?
I'm gonna jump in again since nobody else will. You know, I doing the physical assessment that we did, I was pretty shocked at actually how poor I was with it. And I know that you gave me things to start working on. But do you think that's one of the key components why I couldn't break down some of, you know, breaking down the swing piece by piece the way that you have helped me do? Do you think the biggest struggle was that my body wouldn't get to that place when I've been trying to focus on that before? Or do you think I just didn't have things broken down the way that you've done it for me?
No, it's all about golf skill. Let's just get to the truth. I know 75-year-olds and 80-year-olds that I still play with that can shoot really good scores and they can barely walk. It's about skill set, and being trained skill set. I hear so many people say, oh, I'm going out and practicing. What are you fucking practicing? You practice the same skill set that still has you shooting an 88 on a great day or a 79 on a great day. It's skill set. So for example, in the last 3 weeks, I've gone to my coach 3 times. I went and saw Mike Bender for 1 day. I went to a 2-day school for 2 days, and I just drove 11 hours. I left at 4 o'clock this morning to go learn how to do aim point because I want to get better at putting. Now I'm a fucking good putter. I'll take your money. I'll take all your money if you want to putt me, but I want to be the best putter in Florida. So I want to learn the science and knowledge about aim point. So the reason someone can't live up to their full potential in golf is one fucking word: training. Specific blueprint training. Randy said it earlier. It's great to get a lesson, but if you don't do the work and actually apply what you just learned, I mean, I do that when you learn meditation, you learn the science and knowledge of transformation about how the brain and the body work together. You learn it and then you practice it and then you get feedback. It's the same thing. There's a scientific method for greatness. There really is. So it's training. So yeah, your body has a component, but it's not as important for amateur golf. Now, to be on the PGA Tour, yeah, all those guys are competing to see who's got more distance, more speed, more control, more flexibility. And so forth. But we train, and I'm going to just harp on that training. So the way that we've broken down training, where in the first 10 days, I don't give a shit. You can do all the other stuff you want extracurricular. In 10 days, you need to prove to me that you can roll a ball across a yardstick 10 times in a row. So here's a yardstick. It's in my bag. It's always in my bag. The yardstick's always in my bag. So I have a yardstick right here. So there's 3 things you need to be a great putter. Number 1 is read the green. Number 2 is hit the line that you've read. And number 3 is control it along that speed, along that line. So I'm going to take my line. I'm a linear, so there's linear putters. So I'm a linear putter. That means I'm going to hit to a certain line. So I'm going to put the ball right on this yardstick. I'm going to go through my routine. I'm going to set up to it. And we've got training aids of how to set up to it properly. The eye line mirror. So that fell off about 32 inches. So I'm going to bring this head back here, and I can see that my face was slightly closed a little bit. So I'm going to do that again. Now I take this to the course, and if I can, I'll roll 5 in a row before I tee off, 5 in a row, and that way I know that my concentration is good and my accuracy of hitting that ball right in the sweet spot. There's 1. So the first thing that we have to do for performance is you're going to learn the skill set it takes to roll a ball across that yardstick, but then you've got to get to 10 within the first 10 days. And within 2 weeks, the standard's 15. If you can get to 15, you probably don't have to pull that out until you go to the driving range or go play golf. So training, so we spend 10 days on putting. And that's why we get so good results, because the momentum is there. When you're having fun, you want to do more of it. And then we get into finesse wedges and then bunkers, because that's where you're going to lose a lot of your strokes as an amateur, is around the green. And if you can tighten that up, well, then we can all work on the most important thing, which is ball striking. Getting out of the tee box when you're in the fairway, not hitting it fat or off the toe and so forth. But it's going to require training. And one of the things that we do on the very first call is I give everybody an email with 10 PhD level trainings. And it has to do with zone 1, which is the body, how the body works in the golf swing. Zone 2, which is the arms, how the arms work in the golf swing. And zone 3 is how the hands work in the golf swing. But we also have educated hands. Educated hands means when you can control the club face and you control the club head, you control the club shaft, you control the ball. So the way to control the club face is with your left hand. So if I get down to here and my left hand is pointing this way, right? So here's the target. My left hand, if my left hand is pointing this way, when that ball, that face is wide open, it's going to go right. So when we look at the left hand controls the club face. So the face is square. The face is square to my hand path. And my hand path is going out there. And so the ball's going to start out a little bit right at the target, and then it's going to draw back. So my left hand controls the club face. Now, if I control the club head, what controls the club head? Well, this little knuckle on my right hand, right here on the side of it. Now I'm going to put some pressure on the side of this shaft, and you'll start to see that that little knuckle might be turning white because the pressure is pressing that way. I'm not squeezing it this way. I'm taking the pressure down range or down the line, and you can look and see that club shaft is bending because there's pressure on this little knuckle. That's pressure point number 3. And so when I can control the club head anywhere throughout the swing, I can sense it just with that knuckle. I can sense it and I can direct that energy. So the orbiting club head does not seek out the ball. It seeks out a delivery line, straight line. It seeks out a delivery line, straight line, through the ball, cross the line. So the orbiting club head seeks that out there in front of the ball, which is the aiming point. Which is the aiming point. And so if you can control the club face, you can control the club head, and you can control the club shaft, this forearm keeps the shaft on plane, gets that depth, that depth that everybody's looking for, you can control the ball. So we train you over the next 12 weeks how to control the club head, the club face, and the club shaft so you can control the ball. And now your body's in peak performance. You've mastered basic fundamentals of the golf swings, the 5 golf swings: putting, finesse wedges, pitching and chipping, bunker, distance wedges, and full swing. And then after the 12 weeks, we do an after action report, and you'll rate yourself on the 8 categories that we train. The 8 categories we train are putting, finesse wedge, bunker, distance wedge, full swing, fitness, mindset, and core strategy. We didn't get to core strategy yet. So at the end of the 12 weeks, you're going to rate yourself in those skill sets, and then we'll put a plan of attack to drill down and get you even a sharper blade so you can shoot 68s or 74s or break 80 for the first time, whatever your goal may be. So you guys have any questions before we wrap it up? Because I'll train you guys. What do you want to work on? Greg, Randy, you guys got any questions?
No, hey, Dean, good evening. I'm good right now. I always like listening to you. I mean, it's so true what you said about the stretching and about the putting, and it's not as easy as you make it look, but if you work at it, you'll get that steel ruler down pretty well. And you're correct. You can get 10 and you get 15 and you feel pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, my best is 17. I never got past 17 because it's my favorite number. I just don't. I mean, if you can get 5 in a row before you go play, you're good. If when you get to 10 in the program, well, now you have a fundamental level of success, mastery.
Yeah. And I found if I can get 5 every day, just to keep persistent on it, okay, I don't need to do any more, because I think you once said, once you get the technique down, it all comes down to dedication and discipline, about making sure you do it. So just to prove to yourself that you can do it every day.
Yeah, and I can't even stress how geeked I am about just doing these drills. Like that drill that we did last week, that training with the cone and making sure that I get my hands to not go back here, and I get my hands to start up here. It's lights out. It literally is. I mean, I'm flying out high in the moon to hit 12 out of 13 greens. So I appreciate you all showing up tonight. We're going to do this every Sunday. You guys are more than welcome. We're going to put a poll in the group of some things that we can cover each week. But if you guys have a desire, I mean, what else do you have to accomplish in life? If you have a desire that you want to actually be that A player, shoot a 68, shoot a 71, shoot a 74, break 80 for the first time, schedule a call with us, send over a video, complete our application. We'll put together a good plan on the call. We'll have some fun, and we'll find out if you have the traits that are necessary to get an invitation to come work with us. This is a very small community of kick-ass human beings. And Greg, Navy, Randy, Army, I would say at least 70% of our students are military, which is a lot of fun. You don't have to be military to be part of here, but we gravitate to who we are. And I appreciate you guys showing up for having some fun tonight.
Thanks so much. I really enjoyed this.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Dean. Enjoy your program.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Good stuff, Dean. Awesome.
So we'll see you guys. Some of you guys can schedule a call, send over your video, fill the application out. And this is the last ditch for you guys to actually live your dream. There's nobody out there that does what we do. Nobody. And I assure you, if you show up committed to it, I'm committed to your goal, and you're gonna ask anybody around. So I'll see you guys next Sunday. I appreciate y'all showing up. We'll put the link for next week's training up, and then we'll have a fun time next week with some new training.
Thank you, Dean.
Thanks, Dean.
See you guys.
Have a
Thanks,
good night.
Dean.